Hey, it's me again. I am back to do the conclusory of the 7 things successful people never say. Started with number 1. That's not in my job description. I've said that. You be like, you hired me to do that? Sometimes you may have to do things that are not quite in your job description. Okay. And that's because, especially if you're in a team effort and somebody drops the ball, you may have to step in and kind of take up the slack. And it can be aggravating, but it's realistic. Number 2, it can't be done. Oh, okay. Successful people don't go, it can't be done. Successful people find out, how can we do it? All right. You figure out, how can we do it? That's the difference between entrepreneurs and people who are employees. Entrepreneurs are people who figure out how to get stuff done. For instance, I have a new business partner, and he talks about how his father worked in a certain sector, and when he was let go, that really put him over the edge, and he tried to commit suicide twice. Because he was so used to being an employee, he didn't really know how to create, how to innovate. He was so used to being told what to do. So when he was out there, he didn't figure out, hey, maybe I need to create something. Now, that's something I can give my dad a credit for. He thought like that, all right? And he tried to impute that to us, or to me, and I didn't catch on until I got older. But, it can't be done. It can be done. You just have to have faith, and you have to take that plunge, all right? Because if it can't be done, what you going to do? Number 3, it's not my fault. It's that other person. It's not my fault. Okay, well, whose fault is it? It was your responsibility, but it's not your fault. All right, that's something my clients love to do. Unfortunately, it's the nature of what we do. They want to pass the buck off of somebody else. Never want to take responsibility for what they know they did. Okay, they don't. And I'm not saying it's one thing you didn't do it, and there's some people who take responsibility for things they said they didn't do, but you don't take responsibility for what was actually in your to do. That can turn into a fight. And it's not my fault. Well, whose fault is it? That's where relationships fall apart, because people don't want to admit they're wrong, or they got it wrong, or that, even if they didn't intend it, at least say sorry. So in business, you can't walk around here talking about it's not my fault when you can, but people are not going to deal with you because nobody want to deal with folks who don't want to take responsibility for their actions. Call it on the carpet. Number 4, this will just take a minute. Now, I kind of digressed on that one. I mean, we say it all the time, and I had to say it must go into the, don't over promise and under deliver. Basically, don't say something's going to take this and it's not, and you know it. And then if you are an expert at what you do, or you at least have some sense of common, that's, you'll realize that that might going to take a little while. This person is kind of embellishing here. So if you get that gut feeling and you go with it, guess what? It's going to be your fault. Number 5, I don't need any help. Folks that are very independent minded, that feel like they can't depend and trust people, say that kind of stuff. I didn't make that clear in my last video, but I just had that revelation. That's where people get, because they've been let down so many times, they don't want anybody involved. Now, you got the other group that don't want nobody in their mess because they're like, look, I can do this. I can do better. I can do it better than you. All right? So I don't need your help. So I know there's times where you feel like you just want to do it on your own, but team is good. There's no I in the word team. They said many hands make what? Light work. So if everybody could come together and work together, then we may not have a lot of people running around here talking about me. And if some people weren't afraid to work in a group because of bad experiences they might have had, then we may not have that clash. Number 6, it's not fair. Yeah. Remember when I talked about it's not fair? That they got it because they just this. They got it because they're in with the person. Well, they might have gotten it because they're in with the person. Or they might have gotten it because they just did a better job. Either way, if you sit around talking about it's not fair, it's not right, and all this, then you will never reevaluate where you might have fallen short. versus you point fingers at everybody else. You got 3 more fingers pointed back at you. So you need to be willing to acknowledge the fact that maybe I wasn't at my best, instead of blaming everybody for why you fell short. And then turn around and tell me it's not fair. They get this and they get that. Well, you might want to find out how they got this and that, and maybe you want to learn something from them. That's called humility. And the last one, this is the way we always done it. I told y'all, this is what people in church like to say. Oh, we've always done it like this. Pasta. We've done it like this and we done it like that. Well, then y'all done it like this, and then that's why you're not growing. That's the reason why you don't see nothing new, fresh. God even said, behold, I do a new thing. Okay, he even said, I don't put new wine in old wineskin. So there's got to be a renewal of the mind. Something got to change. Change is going to happen whether you want it to or not. And especially when it comes to working with the group and a team, you got to be willing to embrace new ideas. And yeah, you might not agree with everything, and no one is telling you to. But it doesn't mean that because they come with something different than what you've done, it's the devil. It just might mean that you might want to reevaluate it. That's why we got to work together. So if you want to be successful, it does take a team. It does take people to help you get where you are. You didn't get where you are by yourself. You had help. Whether it was divine or if it wasn't, you still needed help. So don't sit there and say, oh, I can't. This is the way we always done it. If that's the case, then Blockbuster would still be here. Kodak on Polaroid, they almost went out the window. They had to reinvent themselves. This pandemic has caused everybody to reevaluate the way they done things. Realize what's essential, what's really important, and how do I make myself recession proof? How do I make sure that when something like this happens again, that I am prepared? That comes from embracing change. So, with that being said, these are the 7 principles, or maybe the 7 sayings, the things, and they most likely are more, that successful people should not say. I don't say never. But you shouldn't say. You don't want to decree this thing over your life, and then when stuff fall apart, you wondering why, because of the stuff that came out of your mouth. The way, the type of mindset and heart that you had when you put your hands to it. Remember, and I'm gonna leave this with you. Promotion don't come from the east or the west. It comes from above. And promotion only comes when you are in right relationship with God. And only until you allow yourself to be humble, then he'll lift you up. That's true success. Success knowing that it's not all on you. You need to do what your part and do what's right, so you could be in position to receive that thing that was promised to you. Okay, you have to put the work in. Faith without works is dead. You have to put the effort in. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not doing by yourself. All right, and if you don't believe in that, guess what? It's still applicable to you. You still can't do it by yourself. It's called teamwork. All right, not I work. Okay, it's called working together, not working together. Okay, this is an opportunity for you to learn the steps and the precepts to be successful. You talk to successful people, they'll let you know. They've had to admit their wrongs. They had to acknowledge, yeah, I didn't do it right. They had to ask for help. They had to stop trying to be resistant to change. They had to stop running around here whining about it ain't fair. Well, guess what? Life ain't fair. All right? Nobody said life was going to be fair. It's all how you make it. So, I hope you got something out of this. I hope you learned something from this, and go back to these videos and watch them again. And look, they're my opinions, okay? And because they're my opinions, I'm right. Nah, I'm just joking. So my name is Regina, better known as the Preacher Kid Sensation. PK Sensation for short if you follow me on Instagram. I am the Mental Wealth Builder, and I am out. Take care. Bye-bye.